Hello and welcome to the Mama Means Business podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan Bent, and I am super excited to be back for another episode with an amazing mama who means business, Miss Annieka Lisa Francis. Hello, Mama.
Hey girl, how you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you
Thank,
so
thank you
much
for
for
having
saying
me.
yes. Of course. I was as I was prepping this morning, I had a flashback to one, how we connected.
Yes,
Just listen, those who are listening, the social media is a real thing. You can truly take it offline and become connected and build relationships with people. Miss Annieka
absolutely.
reached out to me. I can't even remember how many years ago,
I
but
think it was like 2018.
see, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like the
It
world
feels
before the
like
world,
exactly.
right? The world before the world. And Annieka gave me my first public speaking opportunity. I was
You're
like,
welcome.
I know, right? I
It was
opened the
funny.
email. I was like, she must have had the wrong person. Who is she? What? Kino?
But then
Huh?
look at God. But look at God. I gave you your
Yes.
first public speaking opportunity and you're inviting me on your podcast.
Come on, full
He
circle. Come on
made
now.
he made your gift make room for you through a vehicle such as myself.
Yes. And I truly appreciate you really did open a door um to show me something that I could do that I never thought that I would be doing. So thank you. We don't speak a
You're
lot, but we
welcome.
definitely know that you are in my heart.
We're
So when I was
connected.
deciding to shift, yes, I was like, no, Annieka has to be on this list. Check. All right. So total sidebar on the intro of the podcast, but that's what we're just going to dive right in. And so, can
Okay.
you let my audience know who is Mrs. Annieka Lisa Francis?
So
That's
Annieka
like a
Lisa
loaded question.
Francis. I know. I'm just a regular girl, man, regular woman out in these streets trying to accomplish a legacy for my children. At the present moment, I wear several hats. I'm a co-owner of Drayz Cakes, which is a dessert shop. We started about 5 years ago online, and
Hmm.
God was so favorable that He's allowed us to have a storefront in Bramley City Center, 25 Pill Center
Come on now.
Drive. Also the momager of my four boys who are about to be the next
Come on.
Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, all that, all these Black kings in my life. I'm the momager for them. They
Yes.
are child actors and just trying to help to carve out a safe space for them to be creative and to truly engage in that artistic industry. And myself, I've actually, dabble a bit in that industry as well. Some people will call me an actress. I just call myself a mom that is, doing it
Doing the
and
thing. That's how we say it around
doing the
here.
thing.
The mom
Yes,
who's doing the
the
thing. I
thing.
mean, you're doing the
Yes.
thing when you be doing on the mindless scroll and your friend's face just pops up in sponsored ads, okay? Sponsored ads. I was like,
Yes,
wait a
yes,
minute,
yes.
I know
God has
her.
been truly favorable. Yes, He has. Yes.
Oh, that's so amazing. So
And
exciting.
and how we met was through my organization putting in an option.
Yes,
Um, that that organization speaks volumes about the character of the woman that I am. I'm big on advocating for those in marginalized groups that are less fortunate or just needs a bit of help with resources and tips just to better themselves. Kind of what you're doing with your podcast,
mm-hmm.
with the
Yeah,
moms and I just
yes,
think it's such an important avenue for us as women to constantly
absolutely.
channel each other through various resources and platforms. So quitting
Absolutely.
ain't an option is my baby. I haven't had an opportunity to do as much as I used to because I'm so busy, but
Mm-hmm. Showing up
the
in sponsored
future,
ads. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the future does seem bright for quitting ain't an option. So I plan on doing a little bit more activities and events for the moms out there in the GTA.
I love it. I love it. Like, so for those of you listening, we are not gonna do a checklist because I know you heard all of the roles that Miss Annieka fulfills on a daily basis. On a
Oh,
daily
and I'm an
basis.
employee. I work for the city of Toronto.
Jeez. Jeez.
Yeah.
So this is usually the question I ask at the end, but I have to bring this forward. Where does mama find time for her? And what does she do to take care of her?
That is a beautiful question. Self-care is something that was not present for me for a long time because when you're in the building phase, self-care is not as important as the actual end result, the goal that what you have,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I didn't intentionally carve out self-care, but now that I'm seeing my manifestations of hard work and God's just like putting things into perspective, my self-care comes in various things like taking a day off per week for myself. I tell my kids once per
Mm-hmm.
week, I'm out. I love y'all, but I'm out and I'm doing whatever that makes my heart smile, whatever that makes me happy. And that could be like anything, going to get my nails done, getting my hair done,
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with my girls, reading a book.
Yeah.
Lately I have a bucket list, so I'm trying to check things off. Like I went to the gun range the other
Oh,
day. That was
I
really
saw
nice.
that. That has been something on my mental list. I'm like, yeah,
There you
like,
go.
I
Just do
want to
it.
do
Just
that.
do it. It was
Mm-hmm.
nice. It was really nice. And I plan on going skydiving. I'm terrified of heights, but it's on my bucket list.
You're
And
on your way with that.
I,
You're on your way with that. I ain't trying to do no, not having it. Not
so
having it.
yeah, so self-care is literally just being intentional about taking the time for yourself
Absolutely.
to
Hmm.
regroup. Because if I'm not good, no one in the community that I affect impact is good, right?
Absolutely. No,
I gotta
I
show
love
up.
that.
I gotta show up. Yeah.
I love that because again, we do so much as moms, right?
Yes.
And we do so much and we give so much at every hour of our waking day.
Yes.
And for many, like they forget about themselves.
Yes.
And so I asked that because that's actually something that I only recognized that I needed during the pandemic.
I think we all did.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
When
I was
things
just like,
slow down, you realize you're like, wait, this feels good. I maybe should implement this in my everyday life. Like
for
relaxing,
real, like,
taking, saying no. Let me tell you something, mamas. Saying no
mm-hmm.
is the biggest flex of 2023. For
Come on
real.
now.
Like for myself, everyone knows like Lisa's you can always rely on Lisa, always go to Lisa. She'll
Yeah.
be there, she'll do this. Nah, right now it's a no, I can't. I just
Mm-hmm.
can't. And if it doesn't feel right, it's a no. If it don't
For
smell right,
sure.
it's a double
Come
no.
on.
Yeah,
Right?
because the peace that I have worked so hard to attain, I refuse to allow the devil to come and snatch that away. And that
Come
could
on.
come through any person that I know, acquaintance, friend, or family. I don't care who it be. It's a
Right.
no, right? I need to maintain that peace because it's the peace that makes me happy. It's a peace that
Yes.
gives me the energy to fulfill all the things that I
All
do
these, yep.
for
That's it.
everyone. So I got to be able to be at the place where I'm comfortable with saying no, and you got to be at the place to receive it and not think
Yep.
that I'm being mean or
Taking it
like
personal, right?
taking it
Mm-hmm.
personal. I need to stick around, girl. I'm turning 39. Gotta stick around for my babies.
Girl, listen, she said I'm 39 and
I'm
popped her collar.
turning 39. Yes.
She said turning 30. Listen, you're listening. She popped her collar. No, she didn't. 39. Listen, I got some years
Yes.
on you, okay?
You do
When you
got
popping
years
your
on
collar.
me.
So I want to take you back to that you just said. You're at a place where you've identified how important your peace is. Tell me what
Yeah.
the journey was like to get to that place. How
It
did
was
you
a very
identify
difficult
that peace
journey.
was missing? Mm-hmm.
Um, so for a long time growing up, I'm the eldest of seven children. I've always been looked at to do. And it's kind of like a negative complex that I have. I have an overachieving spirit that I need to always
Mm-hmm.
be on top. I was told today how competitive I was. And I was like, yeah. And it's not intentional. It's just how I was raised. I've always just
Mm-hmm.
had to go, go, go and not be mindful of that me going is not necessarily a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was just existing. I really wasn't living. And it took the
Right.
pandemic for me to actually a little bit before the pandemic. When I had I was on crutches in 2019. I tore
Mm-hmm.
my fascia muscle in my ankle, and I was down for 4 months. And I tell
Oh.
you, girl, it was the longest 4 months of my life. It was like 4 years
Mm-hmm.
because I was constantly going, and I never had a slowdown period. And being on my back, unable to walk and everything, I started to reflect on the things that really mattered to me, and how I was
Right.
operating in ministry was the first thing that came to me, because it was like work and church, work and church, work and church. But
Mm-hmm.
then I was looking at it and I said, would God be really pleased with how I was working in the ministry? I was working in the ministry to satisfy the people in the ministry, but
Mm.
not doing God's purpose in my life,
Come
right?
on.
And that was important for me to understand, that you can go and you can do, but you have to ensure that he's getting the glory in everything that you're
That's
doing,
right.
right?
Yep.
You're not doing this for popularity, you're not doing this to make friends. So I started with the ministry because that is what that's the forefront of my life. God is the head of my
Yep.
life. And
That's
then
it.
when I recognized that I was doing this in ministry, then it just translated it in how I operated in business and how I operated with my friends and my family. I realized that I'm just doing, and there was no pleasure in it for me. God wasn't getting any glory because I was internally
Mm-hmm.
dying. But
Yep.
outside, everyone's like, oh my God, she's superwoman. No, the
Yep.
kryptonite was me not being able to recognize my own sense of need for peace, and
Wow.
that sense of knowing who I truly was. So 2019, I took a step back, and I assessed where I was at and where I want to be, and I said, no, I love Lisa, and because I love
Yes.
Lisa, I'm going to um, revamp myself. I'm going to evolve a bit more on a higher octave, a higher level, where people may not be in agreement, but that's okay because I'm in agreement and
That's
God's in
okay.
agreement, right?
That's it.
And I recognize that how I attain that is through peace. And how do I
Mm.
attain this peace? I have to slow down and start saying no. I have to be
Yes.
intentional. And that's why I changed my IG and I said living intentionally. And I did that in 2019. Everything that I do right now is intentional. People,
Yes.
believe that they know me because I post certain things online. No, I'm intentional about what I post. I'm a
Absolutely.
very I'm
Yep.
a very private person that live in a public world, in a public industry, or
Right.
a public community, but I'm very private, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that privacy is important to me because that's how I maintain the essence of my peace.
Peace. Come on now. Wow. Wow. Let me sit with that for a second. No, but it's so true that so one, you said you didn't take the time to identify where you were falling short, if so to speak,
Yes,
until you literally were forced to sit down.
on my back. Listen, I'll give you a quick testimony. When I got injured at the gym. I got a
Hmm.
personal trainer, and only reason I even started going to gym because of like people are like, yeah, girl, you gotta be working out, you do so much, you gotta be in shape and da da da. I'm like, okay, and I jumped on this bandwagon and I started working out, and this girl was ripping my body like a two-bit hole, like I was like all over the place. And she was doing so much to my body. I didn't recognize that, like, I wasn't supposed to be doing this until I tore the fascia muscle in my ankle or in my heel.
Wow.
And then I was down for 7 days, and the first 7 days was a nightmare. And then I didn't realize, like, this is okay to rest. Resting is
Right.
important. So then I started
Hmm.
getting up with the crutches, and I'm doing stuff, and I'm this and that. And then God just threw the whole entire back out. I ended up in the
Wow.
hospital. Yeah, so I had a slip disc because I was doing so much on the crutches, and the
Right.
weight was proportioned differently now, and it went to my back.
Hmm.
So then God just said, okay, 7 days, you didn't hear me.
You
Here
didn't
is
hear
3.5 months. I was out for three and a
some.
half months. I couldn't even lift my baby.
Wow. Who
And
don't
in
hear
that
will feel
moment,
this, eh?
that's it. And in that moment, I said, okay, King, you are sovereign. I understand what you're
Hmm.
trying to say. I understand what you're trying to show me. I'm doing this and I'm doing that just so that I can kind of fit in. And that's where that overachieving spirit comes back around.
Right.
I had to understand that it's I'm good enough and it's okay
Mm.
being me. And
Come
I
on.
don't have to do the most to be Lisa. and everyone that comes in my life have to appreciate Lisa for who Lisa is.
Right.
And I'm not for everybody. Some people like tea, some people like coffee. I'm like a double shot of everything, right? And not everybody gonna like me, and that's okay. And I have to be okay with that. And that took
Yeah,
time,
that took
right?
time.
When I grew up in a ministry that it was a lot of rules. I've shared those rules with you before. A lot of rules and regulations, and that kind of structured my life. And I came to a
Mm-hmm.
place that that is not what God has for me. That's not my portion. And I have to
Right.
understand what my portion is. So when I recognized that during that 3 month break that I was on my back, God showed me manifestations of things that is for me. I just have to align
Mm-hmm.
myself. And that's
That's
what I
it.
did. In 2019, I aligned myself and I took a step back from a lot of things and a lot of people. And that included the ministry, and that included
Mm-hmm.
work, and that included friends, that included family. But then I look at it and I said, 2023, girl, I'm the face of Esteé Lauder. I guess he was doing something right.
Did you guys hear that? I didn't drop the name. I didn't drop it when I said, popping up in sponsored ad because my girl is the face of Estee Lauder. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you.
This, listen, so much times, there's a saying. I'll say it's a saying because it's not scripture. Our gifting, our purpose, the manifestation of the promises of God is not denied, it's delayed. And it's usually
Yes.
delayed because of everything that you just broke down, everything that you were seeking validation from the outskirts, from the people around you, following the rules of church
Of
or the ministry
man.
that you're up
Of
in, of
man.
man,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so he wasn't able to fulfill what he had been trying to do all these years because he gave you your kings, he gave you your king, then he gave you your four kings, right?
Yes.
And it was almost as if like you were literally living for stuff, not for him.
Exactly. And that's it right there. Like if you stick a pin right there, a lot of us are existing, Siobhan. We're not truly
Mm-hmm.
living. And
Yeah,
how do we live? We have to get into an intimate relationship with Christ, understanding his journey. And we
that's
need to
it.
then fashion our lives according to his journey. But nowadays, we're fashioning our lives according to the ministry and what the ministry wants of us. But is that what God wants of us? If you think about it, when he said to the
Yes,
disciples, I am not asking you to start a ministry to go into a temple. I'm asking you to go out into the street,
that's
knock on
right.
doors. I want you to feed my people. I want you to teach my people.
Yep.
Everybody cannot be in the four walls of a ministry.
This is
Some
it.
people's
This is
ministry is right here on this platform. Some people's
that's right.
ministry is to show others that I can be a lawyer and be a child of God. I could be an
Mm-hmm.
actress and be a child of God. Some people's ministry is just their lives being a testimony to others.
Absolutely. Yep.
But the problem is with like a lot of our communities that everybody wants to be the same. But we are
Mm-hmm.
fearfully and wonderfully made. God
Beautifully
made us all
made. Yep.
unique. He made us all unique. There's no two people with the same DNA, not even twins.
That's it. Yep. So what's for you is for you. So you have to get clear, gain clarity
Clear.
so that you know exactly
Yes.
what you should be doing. Come on,
Amen.
mama. Come on, mama. So let's talk
I will
about
share. I will share with uh,
go
the
ahead.
the listeners. So one of my favorite scriptures is, "He does not give you more than you can bear." Because along this
Mm-hmm.
journey, though I am manifesting a lot of things, there I have a lot of times that I have really bad lows, just like everyone else, right? As
Right.
much as I work hard, I fall harder,
Yes.
right? And that's why the mantra putting A in option is so it's critical to me, because you will fall, you will
Yes.
stumble, you will make mistakes, you will mess up, but
Mm-hmm.
it's important to get back up. It's important to
Get back up.
understand that he does not give you more than you can bear.
Mm. Okay, so let's go right into that. How did the quitting ain't an option is a nonprofit ministry, nonprofit organization.
Yes, yes.
Tell me a little bit about how you decided to do or start this.
Um, to be honest, quitting an option started. It came out of a place of pain and hurt. I was transitioning in my life. I was going through some very troubling times, and I
Mm-hmm.
literally was at my bedside saying to God, "Is this it? Like you brought me this far? Is this it?" And he showed me like, I got so much for you, daughter. Like, this is not it. And I'm like, okay, so if it's not it, show me how can I get out? Because I don't even feel like getting up out of bed at this point. I got the kids here, my money looks funny, like relationships are looking strange. I don't feel comfortable in the ministry. I'm looking at Dre like, oh, I don't know. Like everything was just upside down. And he showed me the same. Quitting ain't an option. And I'm like, I don't understand it. And then he started to download into me exactly where he wanted me to go. He said, what you're going through, there are so many people that are going through the same thing. But if I can fortify you to be my voice, if I could
Mm,
fortify you to be the advocate for those people, the change that you will see in yourself will impact those people that are going through the same thing. So I just
come
said
on.
to him, use me to your magnitude. So that's why
Yes.
like people say to me, how comes you don't have events? I don't have events. I have ministry. And every single thing that I've had, even the way we met, I never met you a day in my life. And the Lord showed
Yep.
me your Instagram. He said, this is
Yep.
the person that you need to have speak at this event. And you blessed so many women in that
Yes.
room that now you are friends with, colleagues with, associates with, right or wrong.
Right. Yep.
Connection is divine when God is in the midst of her.
That's it.
The Bible said when he's in the midst of her, she shall not be moved, and he will help her on
Come
that right
on.
early. And when things are aligned by God, it's there's no arguing, there's no whom God blesses, no man can curse.
That's it.
So when I started quitting an option, it birthed out of my own pain, my own personal pain, but it was it it was it was refreshing, or I should say it was a blessing for me to see that when I put these events together and I get this room together and I get the energy in there and the women in there, everybody leaves with hope. Everybody
Yep.
leaves
Mm-hmm.
motivated. Everybody
Yep.
leaves
Refreshed.
refreshed, renewed. And
Yep.
then I see God and I see him smile. And I said, okay, I've done my job. And I go back in my little corner and I wait for him to download again. That's it.
Yes.
and I and
Love
I will
it.
not and I will not compete with what is out there. Everyone has their own avenue and everyone has their own stream. And your stream and my stream are two different streams, but we're
Two
coming
different
for
streams.
that's it. But we can all support each other and we can all have similar goals but different vehicles to get to that goal. And for me,
Absolutely.
quitting an option was a way to advocate for those less fortunate.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. I was listening to Mama J this morning. She was speaking on a panel and they were speaking on purpose. And they were talking about, the difference between pain and purpose. And they're like,
Yeah.
pain is just your experience, but your purpose is what helps you to overcome the pain that you experience. I'm just like, yeah.
Amen.
And so when you're
Amen.
creating this platform, this organization to serve women who experience, some of the feelings and the places that you've been in, like
Yes.
all you can do from there on out is testify about the goodness that God did for you.
Exactly. I'll give you a little testimony. So when I first adopted that women's shelter, that abused women's shelter, people were like, "Why are you doing that?" I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Because I can relate." They said, "How possibly could you relate?" I said, "Well, I was domestically abused, my first
Mm,
relationship, so I know what they are going through, and I know
yeah.
how I felt. I couldn't say it to my family, I couldn't say it to my friends. I had to endure that with Christ. He brought me through.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's mentally as strong as I am, so they do
That's
need
right.
that extra help, right? Then they're like,
Yeah.
okay, that part, but the shelter, like, why are you sticking around? I lived in the shelter with
Wow.
my family.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell people the level of um, tenacity and drive that I have, it goes beyond my children. It goes from my childhood.
Yes.
I don't ever want to go back to where I was. And I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
see others where I was, where you
Come on now.
are wondering what to eat the next day. And that's why I'm such an open person when it comes to helping others. You see me, I'll post people's stuff all the time because it takes
Yes.
nothing off me to support and to encourage and to promote another woman or another person,
Facts.
right? The shelter initiative is near and dear to my heart because I remember being at the shelter during Christmas and families would drop off gifts for me and my siblings and all the other kids at the shelter.
Mm.
And when God gives you it, there's a scripture that says, to whom much is given, much is
Given,
required.
choir. That's
So
right.
instead of us securing a bag for ourselves, secure the bag and then teach others how to give back to the community.
That's it. Yep. Yep.
I don't believe that anything that I attain is for me, because God gave it to me.
That's it.
He gave it to me so that I can be a blessing to others. Right now
Absolutely.
I have
Yep.
a project that I'm working on. I have this friend that he doesn't know much about investing in the Black community, and I'm gung ho and getting him invested in the Black community. So I mean, his car is gonna get detailed by a Black owned business. His house is
Come
gonna be
on.
cleaned by a Black owned business. His
Come
food
on.
gonna come from a Black owned business. Because it's important for us to sow a seed into our community.
Absolutely. Yep.
Be the change you want to see. Instead of talking, be the change you want to see.
Just do,
Just
do,
do.
do. And
Don't
as you said,
complain
it takes
about this,
nothing.
that, nothing.
It takes nothing for us to share and promote and expose people to other people's businesses, other people's ministries, other people's opportunities, because again, that's still giving. That's still
Amen.
giving, right? Like if you
Amen.
keep that information, that's you're a hoarder. We
Thank
don't
you.
want that.
Thank you. Exactly.
We don't want that. So how many children did you say you have, Mama?
I got four kings, four. I'm about
Not
to be the
one,
mama of a
not two.
21-year-old.
Girl, girl, girl. Listen, listen. I can learn a few things from you, okay? Let's put it that way. How
You know
old
what?
are
It's
your
so
kings?
crazy. I have who will be 21 at the end of the year. Then I have Israel, who will be 11 years old at the end of the year. They are 10 years apart. And then I have the two little ones that I call the littles, because they're like Tweedly Dee and Tweedly Dum Dum, mischievous little minions. We have Sebastian, who is 6, and we have JR, who's 4.
Yes.
So
Wow.
I've been a mom. I've been a mom for a long time, but I have kids in two different eras, I say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you've been through it all. How do you mentioned legacy earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When you say legacy, define that to me. What does legacy mean to you when you say building a legacy for my children?
Well, building a legacy, for me, looks different from what others might say legacy is, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's that if I'm to predecease my children, they know that there are things in place for them. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, I believe in RESPs. I believe in life insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe in teaching my children to have a proper relationship with money and credit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those are legacies for me. I believe teaching my children proper work ethics. That's why they're child actors. They will understand the value of a dollar. It's not okay for
Mm-hmm.
mom and dad alone to work. They got to understand how to work, and they will value
Right.
and appreciate their money because they know how many hours they spend on set,
Facts.
right? And I put things in place for my children so that if I am to go, they know that there are things in place for them already, and they will be understanding, and they will be mindful of all the hard work that I put in for them, right?
Yes.
Also, there are things that I'm building with my children. Like we have a children's book for each child. That is their legacy for their children, right?
Amazing. Didn't know
Yes,
that. That's cool.
yes,
Okay.
that is to come. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
like simple things that will carry my name and their name throughout eternity, I would say, is
Mm-hmm.
important to me. When they look back, they're like, well, mom did that. Oh, wow. I'm proud of that. Like, that's my mom. That's important to me.
No,
And
I
that's
love
why
that.
I put the groundwork in now. You know, I heard Michael B. Jordan said something the other day when he was being interviewed for Creed. He said he looked back and he see how everyone in his age group, they was clubbing, they was having a good time. And he was inside. He's like, I'm going to put this work in now because I have this person relying on me and that person relying on me. And I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to put the work in now so that when I get to, my older age, things are already set in place. And he's
Right.
like,
Mm-hmm.
at this age, things are set in place. I can
Come
now
on.
go clubbing. I can now do this. I can now do that. And those people that were clubbing and having a good time, now they're worried about how they gonna eat, how they gonna live when
Right.
he's in a good place. He stayed
Right.
inside. He studied
The
his art.
foundation.
He studied his craft. And now he's Michael B. Jordan on Creed 3, right?
On Creed,
And for
Creed one,
me,
two, and three.
you know what I'm saying? And for me, I used to ask God, like, why am I going through so much at such a young age? I experienced so much hardship. And it took 2019 for me to understand I had to go through that. I
Of
had to
course.
endure those things so that I could build the character that I have right now. Because, I'm a giant. I'm only 5 feet tall, but I'm a giant. And I'm a giant in my community, and I'm a giant in my
Yes.
family, and I'm a giant to my children. And everyone that
Yes.
meets me understand that there's a lot of volume to this small stature. And that's
Yes.
because I had to go through all of that.
What you went through. Yes.
Exactly.
I love that. I asked that because, I'm pro legacy. However, I understand that when people hear the word legacy, they only think of it in the financial aspect.
Yes. Yes.
Financial aspect is very important, of course, but there's
Yeah.
so many other, I call them pillars. I call them my legacy pillars that are required for us to build to truly create a legacy for our children. And it
Yes.
doesn't just start when we're not here.
Yeah.
It's now, right?
Right now. Yes.
So yeah, I love you've hit all of my pillars. So
Oh, did I? I didn't even know your
you
pillars.
did.
That's good. That's
They're
good.
the spiritual pillar, right? You got to
Yes.
know who
Yes.
the
Well, that
foundation
that
is,
is a given. That's a given.
right?
Like I
For
tell
for
people,
some, not
uh,
all.
well, for me, like I tell people,
Mm-hmm.
like Alik is turning 21. This boy's not on social media. They're like, how? I said, it's just not his scene. He's just a
Yeah.
real humble kid. Yes, he got the Travis Scott hair. Don't be fooled. That boy's brilliant like his mama.
Yes.
He's very composed. He's very conservative. He started watching BT when he was like 18, because we
Yeah.
grew up in a household of gospel music,
Yes.
right?
Foundation.
So foundation
Mm-hmm.
is critical in how you are raising your children. Now,
Yes.
you can't be responsible for when they get old and they go do whatever they
For
want to
sure.
do,
But
right?
you plant
But
those
the
seeds.
foundation, exactly, that foundation is critical, and you water those seeds.
You water them. The second
Mm-hmm.
pillar is how we take care of ourselves, mind, body, and of course, spirit, right? How are we?
Mm-hmm.
And you've done that, right? You said you were in the gym, even though you broke your stuff, you were taking care of you,
Exactly.
right? You're well groomed. You always look polished. Like all of
Oh,
that. I
thank
believe your
you. Yeah,
temple, right?
yeah, yeah.
The third pillar is your community. I truly believe it takes a village, and I know that the context of village has changed as the decades have
Absolutely.
changed,
Yeah,
right? And so we have to now be intentional in creating our village, right?
yes.
You do that, right? And then of
I
course the
try.
last thing you've done it. You're doing you found me on social media. Like you've done it, okay? And then of course
Exactly.
the financial pillar, right? So it's not just leaving
Yes,
them an inheritance. It's teaching them the
yes,
power of a dollar, how to earn a
yes,
dollar, how to
yes.
understand what to do with it, right? So you've checked all those boxes for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit more about Drayz Cakes that's located in Brampton, Ontario, that the food is divine.
Well, you came there and we appreciate the support. Well,
Yes.
Drayz Cakes is initially it's a project that my husband started based on a recipe that he was given to by his mom. That recipe was passed
Mm.
down from his grandma, his great grandma to his grandma, then passed on to his mom. And when his mom was diagnosed with cancer in 2018, she said, I don't want the recipe to die with me if I die. And she
Oh,
passed it on to
wow.
him. And for him, yeah, for him it was a big deal because he's the eldest, and she has a daughter. He has a younger sister, but for her to give him the recipe was a huge honor for him. And because
Mm-hmm.
she's in New Jersey and he's here, he felt like to be in solidarity to her when she was doing her treatments. That every time she went to treatment, he would make the cheesecake. So he made the
Oh.
cheesecake every time she went to treatment. We had so much Dago and cheesecake in the house. I'm like, who's gonna eat all of this? And I'm not eating this. So I was like, all right, let's start giving it to people. So he started giving it to people. People like, oh, this is lit. This can go on. Like, this is real
Mm-hmm.
good. And then I said, okay, let's see if we can start selling it. Let's monetize this because
Yes.
all this cheesecake stuff costs money. So let's see what we can do. So I presented the idea to him, and that's just like the business person of myself, that character building
Right.
quality that I have. I said to him, let's see. So we started selling it to the members of the church, and people started buying it. Still a little, And I said to him, all right, so 2020 came. I'm like, how about January 1st, 2020, we put it online? He's like, ain't nobody gonna want no cheesecake from no man. I'm like, that's the best gimmick ever. Like, what you mean? You're a big
Right?
black man selling cheesecakes. Like,
That's it,
don't
right?
knock, don't knock it till you try it. Like, so January 1st, 2020, we put it online, and what they say, the rest is history. Drayz Cakes
The
has been
rest
so
is history.
welcoming. Yeah, it's been so welcomed by the community, and then the pandemic hit, and everybody wanted to eat, and everyone wanted to eat from Drayz Cakes, and
Come on.
we've just been using that vehicle. And he lost his job in the beginning of the pandemic, and he
Mm-hmm.
kind of went into a place of depression. And I said to him, like,
Mm,
why don't you, instead of looking at it from a perspective of failure, look at a perspective of opportunity, right?
right. Mm-hmm.
God does everything in perfect timing. You use
Everything.
this as a hobby. How about you turn it as your full time? And he's like, but the finances and stuff. I said, well, the good thing about it is you've been blessed with a solid partner that always got the finances in check. So focus on that, build your
Come on.
business, and we'll be good. And that's what we've done. And we've used that as the vehicle to now be in Bramley City Center, first flagship store. Definitely not the last. We're working on many other opportunities, and
Yes.
God has
Mm-hmm.
been a God has been a giant in this whole process, because neither of us have a business degree, but God is definitely showing us how to maneuver
Listen,
in these streets.
what you said to me at the top of this, you said your gifts will make room for you.
Room.
And so,
Amen.
as you were saying about the recipe being passed on, that is another leg of legacy.
There you go.
Y'all have 4 children. So, any of them taking up the torch? Like, what? What's happening?
Yes,
Like,
Sebastian, the 6-year-old
come
boy, can
on.
cook. The boy
Come on
can
now.
cook. I tell you, I said to him, I said, so the other day, so he knows how to bake. He knows how to make eggs. He knows how to make pancakes. He knows how to make cheesecake. And he's generally like interested, and he knows steps, and he wants to learn like certain components of
Oh, I
like
love that.
cooking and putting foods together. So the other day he goes, mommy, I want to travel. I said, okay. He's like, yeah, I want to go try other foods in other countries. I'm like, oh my God, this child is going to be like a food blogger. And he's the skinniest child I got, but he got the biggest
Love it.
appetite. Yes. And, he always asks, like, can you show me how to make this? Can you show me how to do that? And it's heartwarming to us because of the fact that that is a skill that is so transferable that he can translate
Yes,
it into any career,
for
possible.
sure.
And, people call us new age parents because we're not saying you got to go to university and college. We're saying you got to find something that you're passionate about. Because
Yep.
when you go to your house, I don't need to hear you jumping off the balcony of your
Facts.
house. You have
Yep.
all this, hatred and bitterness towards your
Mm-hmm.
career that I forced you to go do. I want you to
This is
find
it.
something that you're passionate about, right? Because I'm
This
not
is
living
it.
at your house, and you ain't come back to my house after you leave. So find something you're passionate about, because mama needs to walk around naked after you leave. Oh, yes. So I'm just happy that out of the
No, that's
four, one
amazing.
one likes to
At
cook,
least
one
one,
likes to,
right?
yeah. Because I said, like, when I go on these long vacations that I plan on taking, I don't know how y'all gonna eat. So thank God somebody knows how to cook,
Somebody can hold you guys down.
hold me down, or it's gonna be Uber Eats every day.
That is amazing. I love that. Go, Sebastian. Tell Sebastian I'm coming for dinner. Okay.
I will.
This mama do not like to cook. Okay.
He loves to cook, I tell you.
That is so cute. Oh my God. And Sebastian is the 6-year-old who looks like he's the smaller one.
Yes, yes. He literally
Yes.
does look like the smaller one. I'm like, no, he's a full 2 years older than the little one. Oh my God. But Sebastian
You guys have
also
to
is
see. They're
like,
so sweet.
he is like, but he's so sweet because Sebastian is,
Oh, you're muted.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, he's small in stature, but he has such a loving and nurturing spirit. So like
Yeah.
JR is bigger than him, and you see Sebastian, come JR, give me your shoes. I'll put it on for you. And JR is like putting his whole entire body on Sebastian. I'm like, Sebastian, don't do this. That's a recipe. That's a recipe of disaster right there. Don't do that. JR,
Just
you go surf. You should
contain
tell
your love.
yourself.
Contain your love a little bit.
I'm telling you. He's like, come. He's sad. Come and lay on me. And I'm like, his leg is dragging on the floor. He's bigger than you. Like, that's not gonna work. It's not
That
gonna
is hilarious.
work.
Well,
But
that's good because
he takes his big brother job very serious.
love it, love it, love it. That just speaks to the environment that he's being raised in. So congratulations to Mama and
Thank you.
Papa.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So what's next for Annieka?
Well,
Right.
well, right now we're literally trying to scale the business at the mall, right? Going from online to
Mhm.
being in storefront is a huge difference. So we're definitely scaling the business. And for myself, I'm actually scaling the world of film for the kids. Like they have a resume, but now
Mhm.
we're trying to be intentional about the type of work that they're doing and the type of projects that they're going to be representing, right? And for
Right.
myself, I did 26 projects last year. I did about 17
Wow.
commercials. Yeah. So
That's
this year
amazing.
I want to be real intentional about the things that I do. I've partnered with an amazing media firm that's about to like help me to brand myself and to kind of put things into perspective and get your girl out there.
Get your girl, get your girl out there
Some
some more.
more.
There, she out there, she out
Yeah,
there.
and
Let that. Mhm.
publishing those books, those 4 books for sure. That's something
All
that is
right.
on my near future, publishing those 4 books for the boys.
All right. Well, we will be looking out for them because we definitely gonna support. But let's
Thank
pause
you.
for a quick second. Can you go back and
Yes.
tell me about the Estee Lauder thing? Like, let's talk about
Oh,
the Estee Lauder thing that you just
Esteé Lauder.
popped up on my For You page as a sponsored ad.
Well, I'll be very frank and honest. So, like, I have a lot of projects that I've worked on in the last year, right? As you know, I told you the acting stuff is for the boys predominantly, but
Hmm.
like throughout the time that I've been doing it with them, they'll ask like, can mom and dad join auditions, and that's how Dre and I kind of book certain things, like the Walmart commercial. That was for the
Hmm.
boys, right? And
Okay.
then
Hmm.
they heard Dre's accent, and they're like, oh, he's American. Yeah, let's just change it from the kids and let's put Dre, right? So, and then same thing for me. Like I went into an audition with Sebastian and they liked it, and then they booked me. They didn't book him, and then it kind of like catapulted after that.
Mm.
So I did a lot of projects last year, and one of the projects was a beauty line, which was Estee Lauder. I didn't think it would have been this big, to be very transparent. I didn't think it would be this like like amazing, but
All over one speed,
all
yes.
over, yeah. And the thing is, it's like um, I have 4 commercials right now airing all across North America, but nothing.
Really?
Oh yeah, I have Metamucil, Ingrezza Pharmaceutical. I have TurboTax with Fred Van Fleet. I have like 3 TurboTax commercials that's airing right now, but nothing matters to me the most than Estee Lauder because I actually am playing myself. Every commercial that
Mm,
I've done, every project I've done, I'm playing a character. In Estee Lauder, I'm
right.
just playing Lisa, and that matters to me
Yes.
the most. It speaks about
Love
who I
it.
am as a woman and who I am as a person. So that one will forever go down in the books as the greatest opportunity I've ever experienced. It was wild. I got to meet like Patricia Joggernaut from the CP24. Got to meet
Hmm.
all these
Hmm.
influencers. And that's how I ended up at the Deborah Cox event because I met these influencers and they're like, oh, you're representing for Black women. And, it's amazing.
Yes.
And, we're all like, connecting and stuff. And it was amazing. And I'm just honestly just taking this ride for what it is because God put it inside of me and He's
He
manifesting it.
he
And
said it's your
who am I
time.
to
It's
say
your
no to
time.
it? There you
You
go.
are you to
There you
say no.
go.
It's all for you. Oh, I feel
Exactly.
so refreshed. I feel
Exactly.
so excited. Oh my gosh, I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing what
Thank
the
you.
Pinedo Francis clan has left to come out. 2023 is still very early, so we know there's a whole lot more
Very
coming
young.
out.
We
Where
working. We
can
working.
You're definitely working, okay? Where can the peoples find Miss Annieka? Where can they find you? Where can they can connect with you?
Well, I'm mostly on Instagram, so I am Annieka Lisa. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I don't really be on Facebook, even though I'm told I should be on Facebook. But I'm on Instagram. You can
I
connect
know
there.
there's
You know
something
what?
about
When
the
my
aura of
grandma went on
Facebook.
Facebook, that was when I came on Facebook. Like, because she's like, Lisa, what would we do with this? And I'm like, Grandma, you actually posting this though? Could you like call me on the phone? Like, don't post your question to me on Facebook, Grandma. Don't do that. Just call me on the phone. Like, like
Hilarious.
when
Yeah,
your
yeah.
pastors are on Facebook, it's
I know.
yeah,
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 it's a different vibe over there. It's
it's a different
definitely a different
vibe.
vibe.
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely
Instagram, I rock with Instagram.
awesome. Awesome. Okay, so the final thing I'm gonna ask of you is for any
Mm-hmm.
mama who's listening, who, as an as I said, you do so many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But business, babies, taking care of self, building your own career. A lot of moms from the outside will look and be like, "Oh my God, I can't do that.
Yes,
I could
I
never
get
do
that a
that."
lot. No, I get that a lot, even from my own friends. They feel like I'm
What
some
if
superhuman. Nah, it's not
kind of,
true.
but we kind of, but I just
It's not true.
but I need a word of encouragement for that mama who's listening that knows that she can do more, knows that she wants to do more, but is
Mm-hmm.
being bound by something that she may not have been able to identify with. What can you tell her to help her make that and make the next step?
Well, the one advice I can say to all the mamas that are listening out there that, number one thing, don't compare yourself to anyone. Comparison is the killer of all dreams and potential,
That's it. Yep.
right? What I do, that's because God has built and ordained me to do it. That doesn't mean
That's
that's
it.
your portion. And what you do, God has built and ordained you to do it. And that doesn't mean that's my portion. So don't
That's
compare
it.
yourself. Once you stop comparing yourself, you stop self sabotaging yourself. And then
Mm-hmm.
sky's the limit. Your potential can grow and flourish because you will see the value that's in you that you don't want to die. Miles Monroe says it, the cemetery is full of potential that has
That's
been
it.
gone. So just remember that. Don't compare yourself. Don't self-sabotage. Allow God to work within you and you'll be fine. Remember, them babies that are relying on you, they're relying on you for purpose and for a season and for time. You don't have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
time to play around and if and but, just get it done. That's it.
Just get it done.
Get it done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Annieka. This was an amazing call. Oh my gosh, I love you this much more because like you
I
just
love you
rock.
too. I love you.
You
I love
rock.
you.
You rock. You
Thank
rock.
you. Thank you.
So we are gonna sign off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Mama Means Business Show. Be sure to subscribe.